Welcome again to Joe Stunner Box, and I hope you're doing well. We got a fight in our hands on Saturday when Leigh Wood defends his WBA World Featherweight title against Josh Warrington. Warrington, a former two-time IBF World Champ at Feather, 31 wins, only 8 KOs, although he hits much harder than that record indicates. 2 defeats, 1 stoppage to Maurizio Lara, and the other in his last fight against Luis Alberto Lopez, who has turned out to be a pretty good fighter, in case we didn't know already. The loss to Lopez was a majority decision back in December of last year, and since then Warrington hasn't fought. But good record. He's got a draw on his record as well. I think technical draw against Lara in the rematch. And Leigh Wood, 27 wins, 16 KOs, 3 defeats, 2 by stoppage, and no draws. 2 fights ago he fought Lara, who had, like I say, had knocked out Warrington and got knocked out himself in the 7th round by 1 left hook. Then they had a rematch and Lara came in overweight, didn't look the part, looked sluggish, as you would expect someone who hasn't done the weight right, and got outboxed by Leigh Wood. And Leigh Wood regained his WBA feather title. He's also got very good wins, a classic fight with Mick Conlon, where he knocked him out in the 12th round. What an exciting fight that was. But most importantly of all, for me anyway, Leigh Wood got off the floor in that first round from a hellacious knockdown. Came back, ground his way back into the fight and showed real guts as well as good technique, and stopped, the very game Conlon. Prior to that, he beat Kanzu for the title. Kanzu much fancied to beat Leigh Wood, but he got stopped in the 12th round as well. So Leigh can bang a bit, and a lot of people who've sparred him have said he really hits hard. He's got 16 wins in 16 KOs in 27 wins, but again, the record is a little bit deceptive there. Look, Warrington, I have to say, he's the younger man. He's 32. Leigh Wood is 35, but is enjoying this, fantastic Indian summer of a career under the tutorship of Ben Davison. Warrington's trained by his dad, I believe. I've got to be honest, I've never really taken to Warrington, and I think the reason is because he is a dirty fighter. He can be a dirty fighter, not always, but he likes use of the head. He got out of jail in the second Maurizio Lara fight by using the head, opening up a bad cut over Lara's eye, an accidental head clash. But there's too much of this goes on with Warrington. I've always thought he's a bit dirty. I kind of put him in the category like with Andre Ward, where I kind of admire them for what they do, but there's an element of the dark arts that I don't take to at all personally. Other people don't mind it, but it ain't for me. But he can fight. There's no doubt Warrington can fight. There's no doubt he has got guts as well, because like I say, he got a majority loss to Lopez. Lopez is clearly better than we thought. I mean, he flattened Michael Conlon in 5 rounds, and more recently outscored Joet Gonzalez in a little bit of a subdued performance, but Gonzalez is probably quite underrated. So if you look at that fight, losing a majority decision, it's not the end of the world. And at 32, Warrington is the younger man by 3 years. This is going to be in Sheffield, the Sheffield Arena in Sheffield, and Leigh Wood's from Nottingham, I believe. Warrington is from Leeds, so okay, Yorkshire. Wood's going up to Yorkshire to beat the local hero. I'm sure lots of the Leeds fans will come down and go over to Sheffield and support their boy. Who's got the most left? Well, like I say, Leigh Wood's enjoying this, Indian summer of a career. He looks great. The knockout loss to Lara was really just one punch, and Ben Davison showed, I think, a lot of nous by throwing in the towel, knowing full well that the return match was part of the contract, and he saved Wood from a sustained beating. He got a lot of criticism for that, but I think Davison knows his stuff. I think because people tend not to take to him as a character, they don't realise he's actually a very good trainer who knows his stuff. Warrington, trained by his father, he's been around the block so many times. He fought Kiko Martinez twice, beat him he knocked out Kiko TKO in the 7th round. Martinez was cut over both eyes and on the forehead, and this was the dark arts from Warrington, I think. So he's got some good wins. Beat Carl Frampton over 12. That was back in 2018. split decision over Lee Selby. You know, he's not a bad fighter at all. But I just get the feeling that he's on the downside of his career. I don't mean he's shot. I don't mean he can't. I don't mean he can't beat Leigh Wood. He can, but I just get the feeling that the wear and tear is starting to take its toll a little bit. And I don't doubt that he'll come in great condition for this fight and believing he can win it. But I feel that Leigh Wood, especially coming off the back of that Lara revenge win, his confidence and his self-belief will be sky high, absolutely sky high. Both these guys are orthodox fighters. I'd say Warrington is probably the guy who likes to put the pressure on more. That was a mistake he made in the first Lara fight. He took it to Lara and Lara battered him. But definitely, I think he's going to be free and easy with the head again. It's the old Evander Holyfield, Andre Ward style. As far as Wood is concerned, I think he will look to box, mix the power in with the box. And I think he'll be very cautious. If he does get cut, he might start letting his hands go a bit more. But as with fighters who are trained by Shane McGuigan, Ben Davison fighters tend to fight to very strict orders. They have a very precise game plan, and they tend to let their hands go only if it has meaning. Whereas Warrington is a bit more cavalier. Warrington's a bit more riffing it off the cuff and getting stuck in a bit more, taking a few more risks. Leigh Wood he almost boxes on the back foot, waits for the guy to come forward, and then he will let his hands go. Not a pure counter punch. I mean, he can put pressure on, but he does like to, even though he knows he's got heavy hands, there is an air of caution in those early rounds. And I know he got nailed by Connon and almost flattened in the first round, but I think that was more of an aberration. I can see Wood fighting in a not dissimilar manner against Warrington to how he fought with Lara. I think to start with, it will be a cautious beginning from Wood. I think after about 3-4 rounds, he'll start to open up a bit more, get a bit busier with the punch output, still being quite conservative, nice high guard. Warrington, I think, will start. I think he'll start quicker and again a bit more. There'll be a bit more offense from him. I think he'll try to go through the gears after about 4 rounds. I think that will suit Wood. I see Wood. I see a bit of give and take in the middle rounds, but I think Wood overall it will be a case of, maybe Warrington will be winning a few rounds, but I think Wood will probably be winning the fight, if you know what I mean. I see in the middle rounds, sort of 6, 7, 8. I see Wood starting to really the precision and the accuracy of his punches will start to maybe take its toll on Warrington, and I think in the last third of the fight, I think Wood will start to turn the screw, go through his own gears, and Warrington will be game. He'll be fighting back. There won't be there's no quitting the guy. But I do think that Leigh Wood will win a not comfortable, he'll have to work for it, but maybe a 116, 112 decision. Maybe 115, 113, 7-5, 6-4 in rounds. I think Wood wins this fight. So what do you think? Leave your comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and of course I'll answer your comments. I always love reading them. Yeah, hit the subscribe button if you're new, and pop the old like button as well, because as I keep saying, they count them and I still don't know why. Anyway, good fight. This should be a little bit of a give and take, but I do think Wood is going to have a little bit too much of everything for Warrington, a little bit too much refinement, a little bit too much technique. But leave your comments below and we'll have a chat. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.